Hey guys, finally able to film a video. Oh my goodness. I have been wanting to share what our homeschool year has looked like this year because you guys have asked me to do that, and I filmed a video and accidentally erased a third of it, and I was so annoyed because it would have been up like a week and a half ago. So this is a complete do-over. Also wanted to share, and for those of you that don't know, I've been doing this for about 6, maybe 7 years now. I always lose track, but I know December is the anniversary. I think the 31st of December was my first video ever, and it was when I had little babies, and I was in that season of life where literally all I did every single day was nurse, change diapers, not sleep, be exhausted, dishes, food, clean up, spit up, change diapers. Did I say change diapers already? It's okay, we can say it again. Nap times, all of that. And life has changed a lot. And so filming has been very different, trying to find when I can film, when I can edit, all that stuff. Since then, we've also become 100% self-employed, which those of you who have been with me for the last 7 years know that that has been our goal forever. And by God's grace, He has made a way, and we have finally reached our goal. So that makes Daddy home a lot more often than he used to be, which also gets in the way of when I'm gonna film, when I'm gonna edit, because I wanna be with him and help him with whatever he's got going on. Then, of course, 5 years into homeschooling, I have elementary age children now, 5th going into 6th grade and a 2nd going into 3rd. No, a 3rd going into 4th. And that takes a lot more time than it used to because, as you can imagine, juggling school and housework and shopping and friend time and ministry and filming and editing and marriage time, it gets crazy. The balancing act is big. So I like to keep my life simple also. So anything that can wait usually has to wait because I don't like to be crazy busy with no time to just sit and be with my children, as I've shared with you in many videos. So today was a super chill, very, very chill day. We had friends in the morning, we did school, we read on the sofa, almost fell asleep because it was such a long cuddle time. And then I'm gonna work out soon, as I'm done with this video. Did some dishes, pulled out some meat to defrost, and what else have I done? Fold laundry. So now I'm gonna film, work out, and then make dinner, and then we have a small group. So it's gonna be one thing after the other for the rest of the afternoon, but I wanted to squeeze in and make this video. Also wanted to let you guys know, for those of you that missed my marriage videos, I know I haven't done any in so long. I feel like I kind of said everything I had to say. Is that crazy? I don't know that much. I've only been married 15 years. So I've shared what I know and what I have learned to this point in my videos. And so please go to the marriage playlist. There are so many videos that I'm sure you have not seen because I have over 1,000. I have people tell me all the time, I've seen all your videos, and I'm like, no, you haven't. I have over 1,000 videos. So if you go to my channel, especially if you go on a computer, like a desktop computer versus your phone, you will probably see way more videos than you realize I have. They're really old. They're not gonna be edited. They're not gonna have the nice quality. You might see my baby on my lap from back in the day, but there is so much that I have shared with you guys. And I was just talking to someone last night who I've recently met that found out I had this channel, and they were just encouraging me and asking me like how I feel about how the Lord has used it. And I was just telling him, I feel like the Lord has answered my prayers through this channel. My entire purpose for it was to minister to young wives and mothers and to encourage women in their faith and their role as a mother and their role as a wife, and to embrace it and to listen to what God says about it, not what the world says about it. And you all have encouraged me so much through the years. So many of you have reached out to me and shared your story with me. I've gotten to hear how God has worked in your lives through these videos, and ultimately by His incredible grace has changed your lives, your marriages, your faith, your parenting. That is what I prayed for in this channel, and He has done that. And it is not me, it is all Him. And really, I'm just passing down knowledge and wisdom that other women have poured into me. So it's just this beautiful picture of sisters in the Lord sharing their life experiences, sharing their wisdom, sharing what they've learned from each other here. So it's just such a blessing and an honor and a privilege to be able to speak to you guys. With all that said, like, subscribe, go check out the playlist. There's so much stuff on marriage and homemaking and parenting. Have grace on me, you guys. I made those videos 6 and 7 years ago. I don't necessarily approve of everything I said in all of them, or I would reword it now. Just, you know, filter me. I'm gonna dive into what we do for homeschooling. You guys know that we do the AmblesideOnline.org, which is a Charlotte Mason curriculum. It's free online. I followed it for the first 4 years through last year. And last year, towards the end, I realized this is getting too heavy, like too much stuff, too much. For example, this was one of the geography books for this year. I am not going through this book. It's called Book of Marvels. And what I've done instead is I've gone through the table of contents and I've seen what marvels of the world are covered in it. Some include the Brooklyn Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, Mount Rushmore, the Mayan temples, etc. And then I'll go to the library and I'll get a bunch of picture books and other books that are not this big that the kids can look through and read on their own, versus me sitting down and reading these out loud stories to them, which I thoroughly enjoy, but if you have too many, it's impossible to keep up with. So that has been what we've done this year across the board with all of the Charlotte Mason curriculum stuff, except Abraham Lincoln's World and This Country of Ours and this one. And we are gonna read Story of the World, but we haven't started it yet. We'll read volume 4 in about 2 weeks. Is supposed to start. So basically I stick to the timeline period that they suggest. I stick with the biographies, but I am doing I'm providing my own resources instead of what they recommend. We already covered Lewis and Clark, Teddy Roosevelt, Lilias Trotter, and we're currently doing George Washington Carver. So I went to the library and got books on all those people, one at a time. You know, we did Lewis and Clark for 5 weeks, then we did Teddy Roosevelt for like 5 weeks, and went down the list, and now we are in George Washington Carver, and it has been so much fun and so much more doable that way. So basically the way I arrange my days is every day we do math. I use Math UC every day per my husband's suggestion, and this has changed our year around. My boys have become better spellers this year than they've been the whole time. He says that he remembers as a kid, the teacher would just start writing on the board and all the students would copy it. So he was like, just do that. And they're gonna learn how to spell just doing that. Plus penmanship, right? Plus reading. So I write something on the board every single day. It's usually good morning, today is the day, the month, the year, all that stuff. And usually what we're gonna do that day, I write it out. And as you can imagine, they're writing all sorts of words every single day. Then I'll go up there, I'll erase a line or two, and I'll dictate to them and they'll rewrite it in, practicing their spelling. So that has been great. We do that every day, Monday through Thursday. We take Fridays off. So Monday through Thursday we do that. Monday through Thursday we do a lesson or two from Math UC. I don't always do it in the workbook. Sometimes I do it on the board for them and they fill it in. Sometimes they sit in their seats and I do it on the board and we call out answers just to mix it up, you know? Every day we do an English lesson from the book. Hold on. This is the math we use. We're in Delta right now, which is division. And this is the language arts we use. It's English lessons through literature. You don't have to read the books that are recommended with this because all you do is use sentences from them. And this year, this has focused primarily on diagramming sentences. So it's been really great. There's also poetry, art study, and fables in this. So every day in our English lesson, we have a fable, we have a poem, we have an art study every few days. There's narration in this as well as the grammar lesson. So I love this because it just like pulls together so many things in one place, right? Then we do our math, we do the spelling that I described, and we read. And so every day the kids, we'll go through those 4 subjects, they'll sit here and read, and then our morning lessons are over. Stuff that we read out loud, like history and geography, we will do at the kitchen table, usually during lunch, because we take like a break. I go do dishes, do whatever I gotta do, prepare lunch, and then during lunch, I'll read to them. Every day I have a different schedule that I made for for us. So this is all I do every Friday. I'll come in here and do a new schedule for the week on a piece of paper on this clipboard. And so Monday, well, really every day we read a chapter from Abraham Lincoln's World, which is a history book telling stories about several people and events that were happening around the whole world during Abraham Lincoln's life. So it's really fun. We did George Washington's World last year. They're great. So every day we read Abraham Lincoln's World. On Monday we do geography, which would be either this or a map drill or something with geography, a game, an activity. And we listen to This Country of Ours on audio on YouTube. Free, easy, usually over lunch, like I said. Then Tuesdays we do Abraham Lincoln's World and whatever timeline we're covering, a timeline card for that day. So this year, our timeline is the 1800s through World War I. So here's the timeline cards. We put one up every Tuesday, like I said, and then we read from our biography, and that's Tuesday. Then on Wednesdays, we continue on with Abraham Lincoln's World. We read our nature reader, which is our science book, and we look up whatever marvel of the world for that week. And so we'll look up at YouTube videos, we'll read books from the library, we'll read information offline. We also do this book called Among the Forest People, just for natural science, on Thursdays with Abraham Lincoln's World. And we're covering inventors this year, so we'll cover whatever inventor we have for that week. This week from the library, this is actually the first time I've ever done this. I got these kind of like comic book things. They had Eli Whitney and they had Johann Gutenberg, which are two inventors that we did cover this year, fairly recently actually. And we live pretty close to the Shiloh battlefield from the Civil War. And since we're doing Abraham Lincoln's life, of course, Gettysburg. So we got to go to Abraham Lincoln's birthplace this year when we were visiting the Ark, which was so awesome. We got to, we're gonna go to the Shiloh battlefield. We got to see the cornerstone at the first Lincoln Memorial that Teddy Roosevelt put in place, which is awesome because we studied him this year. So I just love how when you homeschool, all the things that you get to do, like pull everything together. It's so fun. And so then we also went to Puerto Rico this year and we got to go to the fort in Puerto Rico, which the Spanish-American War, which Teddy Roosevelt fought in, happened there, as well as tons of other awesome historical stuff that they learned, but just the things we've learned this year that they got to see firsthand, so neat. And then the tide pool that we got to explore in Puerto Rico, we studied all about tide pool life for science last year. So it's just really fun to live and experience things that you have learned about, and for me to get to experience it with them. So this is this is our week, you know, like I told you, the 4 subjects we do in the morning, then each subject we do during, you know, per whatever day it is of the week. I have been implementing Greek mythology this year because Age of Fable is one of the things that Charlotte Mason has for several years in a row. So I got this Gods and Goddesses of Olympus. My kids love Greek mythology. I also had a few other Greek mythology books that they've listened to on audio, videos that they've gotten to watch, and other books that they've gotten to read. We only have 1 chapter left, Nature Reader, for science. So I'm gonna start the human body after that, just to get a good basic overview of that for science. And Story of the World, and I feel like everything else is about to be done. Like it's just gonna gradually taper off and make the school year lighter and lighter until the year's officially over. So it has been a wonderful journey for me, for the kids. We love it. We enjoy it immensely. And I feel like this year has been very much more our style. I love having the guidelines and the outline of what to cover, but I love getting my own resources, and it's fine. It's great. You've got to do what works best for you, what is not forced, what comes naturally and enjoyably for you and the children. We've also read King Arthur this year for literature, And we did Trail of Tears for a little while, even though it wasn't on the curriculum. I wanted to because it came up in our timeline and I just wanted to go a little more in depth. So we read a book called Soft Rain, which was story form, and it was very fun. They enjoyed it very much. And we watched a couple of short documentaries on that. And we celebrate little things here and there with our co-op friends, our homeschool community. So we've done a few of those. We just did a Valentine's one. We'll definitely do a kickoff spring party. Maybe we'll meet at the park and make like bird feeders or something. We also go to plays and music performances and field trips, museums. We did a bald eagle tour last month, maybe 3 weeks ago, and we saw like over 25 bald eagles. So fun. Because we were in earthquakes and in a tsunami warning in Puerto Rico, of course we studied all about earthquakes and tsunamis right after that craziness, and they just enjoyed that so much. We did videos, library books, all that stuff, and I feel like that's everything. I don't know, we still, even though we're doing all these things, it sounds like way more than it actually is. Once you implement it, I would say it takes us about 2 hours a day, 2.5 hours a day to do our schoolwork. And then they have chores, and then they play, and we do errands, and we take care of our animals, and we see friends, and we have church and random activities. Tomorrow we're going on a barn dance with another family. That sums up our school year right now. It has been a good year and a great 5 years. And if you're thinking about homeschooling, do it. do it. There's so many resources out there these days. You don't need a curriculum. It can be practically free, and there is so much freedom and beauty in it. It is a very peaceful life if you make it that. Some people really like to fill their schedules. We really like to keep our schedules open and just enjoy the flexibility and the freedom and the peaceful, slow-paced life that you can create with the freedom of homeschooling. It's such a privilege. So thank you guys so much for always supporting and being so good to me. Please subscribe, share this video and this channel, and God bless you all, and see you next time.